Is there one up there?
Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. Welcome to our Streets Committee for July 13th. I will need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, assuming you were able to get them.
You have that
and-
motion?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving right along. Our mayor will not be here for this meeting, but he did leave a nice array of responses for Courtney, because he knows we are going to have questions, and didn't want to leave us in the dark. So I am very grateful for that, for his being proactive. The first thing I want to address is, at our last meeting, our last council meeting, we approved blindly, I will say, to a motion that was made to approve a handicap space downtown in front of one of our businesses. That motion should never have come before council. I will say that because the research was not done properly. Council voted on it. Most of council voted on it. I believe there was one no. I caution council once again, when somebody blindly makes a motion like that because they want it done quickly, we need to very much stop and think about it. I'm speaking to all of us, we're all guilty of it. Because we want to get something done, we want it done quickly. The business owners are jumping down our throats and they want it done, and I understand.
We're human, yeah.
Yeah, we're human and they're human. They want it done. And they want it done because they have business, they have people that come to them that have a need, and we want to fulfill that need, and I understand that. But it's not something we can just automatically say, yeah, we want that, let's do it. Yeah, no. This is something that we have to do our due diligence on. We have to do the research. Correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney. There's research that has to be done. There's a protocol that has to be gone through, and we did not do those things. Consequently, I'm going to turn the floor over to Courtney for the mayor's response and let the people know what has to be done.
Okay, so this is right off the mayor's letter here. The handicap sign will not be installed on Main Street until ADA compliance requirements are confirmed and the cost of a curb cutout are obtained and approved by council. Currently expected that one handicap spot will require 2 regular parking spots, plus a curb cut, plus a signage, plus street markings for each handicap to meet the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act. A sign put up not meeting ADA requirements is not enforceable and will expose the village to liability. We have not yet studied the impact to the rest of the downtown parking, but there is an expectation that it will be significantly impacted by the addition of handicap spaces.
Do we have any questions? Do we understand this protocol?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on if there are no questions. I'm sure this will be brought up again in council. Might be discussed further then. Maybe, hopefully the mayor will be here in council. We can discuss it further then. Hopefully we won't elaborate on it too much because there's nothing we can do. So thank you for your understanding. Hopefully, if something comes up again, somebody on a whim decides to make a motion, we'll table it until further consideration can be done. It's nothing new. It's happened before. It'll probably happen again. We just make sure that council does their due diligence. Moving on, the next item on the agenda, we have some cracks in the road on Wingate that has been brought to our attention, and we have been asked if we could please patch the cracks in the roads on Wingate. And I believe the mayor has a response to that.
His only response, there's a difference between the cracks versus the grass that's growing. His response is grass on Wingate will be sprayed.
Okay?
So if there's cracks in the middle of the road, and this is just my opinion upon it, is, obviously, we would need to get, probably somebody that is experienced on if that needs to be filled with sand or if it needs to be filled with tar. So, I would probably relay that back to the mayor to see if that's,
Okay.
a fixable fix with the materials that we currently have, or is it a fix of maybe an engineer looking at it to see if that would help it?
Okay. Okay. So that is something that we will take back to the mayor, and I'll have a discussion with him and get his thoughts on which route we need to take.
Is it just cracks or is it actual potholes?
There are cracks on part of it off to the side. I don't think they're in the middle of the road. I'm not sure. We'll get clarification.
Yeah, so it's every 15 feet.
Yeah.
So if you ever drive back there, you go plump, plump, and then 15 feet, it'll go plump, plump. Because the road's basically separating. And it's the old Wingate, it's not the new part.
Right.
But yeah, from what we understand is there's grass.
And
that's growing
streets
in
have
it.
got bad pretty quick anyway, they're so narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they remind me of New England.
Well, and I do agree. I know the mayor has come across something that Jack called Sure Shield. I don't know.
Spruce,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That he was going to also try on the diamonds out there. But I haven't heard back from the mayor as to whether that was effective. So, but he did say that they could be sprayed rather than mowed or trimmed or whatever, which leads me to believe that that product is very effective. So that's something going forward we might be able to just spray. We'll get more information from the mayor and I'll report back. I can have Courtney send out an email to the committee. Is that appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have Courtney send out an email to the committee and get us updated on that, so we can put that to rest as well. But we're not tabling that, we are going to pursue it, I just need an answer from the mayor as to which
Right.
way he's gonna tackle that. Moving on, the bid on Spring Street in Jefferson, did he have an incoming bid on that?
No, but what I can tell you guys, and I can speak to this as well.
Yes.
So, as you guys know, it was a grant that I had wrote and was awarded to the village to do some drainage and some sewage in the areas of Spring Street and Jefferson Street. I, and as well as Andy, went back to the commissioners and noticed that there was a bid that came in that was incredibly too high, that we weren't gonna take, because it went over the budgeted amount. And then there was one that came in that we used. They were a former contractor of ours that we had used while I was here, and a grant that I had wrote and was awarded down here on London Street. Remember when right by the fire department, the water line that was down London and was able to go to the Methodist church? Unfortunately, that contractor didn't do a very well job. So we went back to the commissioners, and they went ahead and approved that and agreed, and it's back out to bid again. So
Okay.
we will probably it has delayed the project, but again, I felt Mount Sterling needs the best of the best, and we don't and shouldn't take just the first bid that comes in that we know.
It comes down to
Had
worry
issues.
about what we can handle in the budget, not be
No,
ridiculously.
that has nothing to do with that. So the grant has been issued,
Okay,
and we obviously don't want to go over that. So
Okay.
one bid came in that was way overpriced than what our grant money was even offered. So that one automatically takes them out. The second bid came in, and it was a contractor that didn't do a well job for us before, so we can't take that. I know I wouldn't want that to come into the village, and they would do a terrible job. So, we put it back to, and they approved it, they agreed, and it's back out to bid again. So it has delayed the grant process.
I would think and I would hope that the committee would agree that was the best route to take. Doesn't matter what the bid is, if it's shoddy work, it's not worth it.
You don't want to pay for crummy work.
You do not.
Exactly, especially when they're really high for crummy
Right.
work.
So,
Well, no, let me repeat this one more time. There were two bids that came in.
right,
One was incredibly high.
High.
That one wouldn't even have been a question here, okay? There's a second bid that came in. Used to do things for the village, did not do things as expected
properly.
or properly. We, here at the village, and I would hope all of council would understand, would agree with this, that if you had problems with them in the past, it's probably not gonna happen moving forward.
Right.
Okay, and we're talking about bonds being pulled on them. And that's not good, if you know what that means. So if you don't know what that means, you can Google it.
Right.
But if their bonds have been pulled, then there obviously was a situation, an issue that happened.
Yep.
So, I would think nothing best for Mount Sterling and ensuring that we get a good contractor that, does the top of the line work, and that's what Mount Sterling deserves,
For a
so,
fair price.
yeah.
We'll just have to be patient.
I agree.
Be patient.
Yeah,
Can't
it,
jump the gun.
it might take a little bit longer, but for good work, for the best price is what we're looking for. We don't want shoddy work at any price. Okay. They got their bonding pulled?
Yep.
Yikes. All right,
And that was in Mount Sterling, by the way.
yes. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for making that decision. Okay. Our solicitor has been, out of the country, which he's entitled to do every year, or twice a year on vacation. And we hope that he had a marvelous time, or is having a marvelous time. They work hard. So, we have not been able to reach him on a couple of things. I have wanted to pursue the sidewalk issue. We've had another fall. This time was far worse than the last. And I'm getting very anxious about things going on in this village. And we just kind of sit back lackadaisical and say, oh, I hope we don't get sued. And I'm about at the end of my rope with it. We have to take all measures to make sure that we do the best we can to make sure we have the insurance in the right places at the right times, and to make sure our village residents are safe. Our sidewalks, several are in need of repair. We've talked a bit about this for quite a while now, and now I think we need to put it in action.
If he's out, is there somebody else that you could possibly reach out to?
That's what I mean by we need to take action. So, tomorrow I will be on the phone, or Andy will be on the phone. If Andy can't, I will be, trying to reach the solicitor or a backup solicitor, to discuss with them, whether it's over the phone, by email, one-on-one. I would prefer a one-on-one. I have your pictures. I have about half of them printed off to show them the serious nature that we're in right now with these sidewalks. I would like to present it to him that we need to take the first steps of identifying the worst of the worst and then whittle it down. And we need to start very soon, within the next, I would like to see it within the next 30 days of creating a letter to go out to the residents. Interject anytime you guys have something to say. First, I think we need to present it to the owners of the worst sidewalks in dire repair, in need of repair, that this is something that we want to introduce to them that needs done. We need to set a time frame in which they need to start their sidewalk repair. Now, we know it's not gonna be 30, 60, 90 days. That, especially for the worst of them, because it's gonna be thousands of dollars, and we need to give them time to prepare their finances for this. whenever we need to consult a solicitor, because I'm not a banker anymore, I am retired. So we need to leave it up to him to talk to the residents, to be fair, determine what kind of a time frame they need to get their finances together to start this project. Okay, we've sat on it long enough. Now we need to work with the residents to find out what their timeline is to start the repair.
Now, someone will have to talk to the landlords, a lot of these sidewalks.
The owners.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the owner's problem, not the residents, not the
main problem,
tenants.
Everybody knows I walk a lot, but there's so many, and I know Nathan has pictures, some is so out of balance. If you're not paying attention, your toes gonna catch them, down you go. Some have got pivots, and
So-
so,
So I talked, oh, go ahead, sorry.
yeah, and, yeah, pivots and stuff, so I think it's a good thing we do, but we gotta give the people at least 6 months or so, cause concrete's expensive.
Well, I agree, but I think that I think we should get letters out within the next 30 days.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And then find out, can we can they do it in 6 months?
Concrete's
We
expensive, but a
can't-
lawsuit's more expensive.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah,
We can't give them a year.
yeah, right.
So
We can't give them a
I
year.
reached out to the resident that fell recently. She was pretty banged up, pretty bad. Luckily, she didn't break anything. But this happened right down the road here.
That is her second time
Second time within
and
a
in the
year,
same
isn't it?
place. My husband's fallen twice.
Second
So
time in
that's
a year.
4 falls. That's
No
4
one.
falls.
So, I also reached out to Andy about the ORC on Chapter 729, which is talking about like the options that villages and municipalities have to get this situated and get it fixed. And there's a couple different things that he was telling me. He did say that it was already in our ordinances already, along with another section of the ORC. So we can go ahead and push forward and get this done. Now, as far as the ordinance go, or the ORC goes, I know that there was some confusion a while back about how to do it, as far as if the property owners can't afford it, if the village goes ahead and pays for it, get it done, but bills it out.
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
I've heard that, but according to that chapter that's a part of our ordinance, that's what it's saying that is required, like as far as one of the options. So
Still a terrible idea.
what's the downside of that?
You'll never get paid. I mean, come on. I mean, if you got a $5,000 concrete bill and they're not able to do it now, do you think that it'll happen 5 months from now?
No. And also, to be fair, the neighbors are gonna say, well, you paid for theirs, why wouldn't you just pay for mine?
You're gonna
It's a
have a
trickle-down
domino
effect.
effect.
You don't wanna do that. You don't wanna do that.
About 20 years ago, though, I was on a cement crew, and the town would use their backhoe to tear it out. We would form them all. I remember pouring in front of Doc Young's office. We did that. We did it a lot of other places. And that time, that's when my father started a cement crew. I remember we did it then I believe the mayor was Glenn Mead at that time, and he had that, and we did that for almost a year. And I forget how they did it, but the people had to pay so much out of their own pockets. But the town did furnish a backhoe and tear out the old stone and all the way. But we formed it and then poured it.
Well, you think of another liability in that situation. So if the village forms it, touches it, and say that the concrete doesn't set up well, then
It's
guess
our
what? It's the village's fault.
It's our liability.
Yeah.
We
So
can't take that
You really need
liability
to
on.
just have a professional do
It's
it.
always a risk, because Glenn Mead stopped the program.
Yeah.
Because just so you know, we don't do any like backhoe work, just so y'all know, our village employees don't do that.
No,
This
That's
was
all
good
contracted
while.
out.
yeah, we contract all of that out.
But the sidewalk situation's been bad for.
It's
I
bad.
even took a tumble myself once.
Yeah. We have to be careful what we commit the village to do because of the liability. I know what the ordinance says. We've been advised very strongly that picking up the tab on that up front is a very bad idea. I think we should work with the owners, and maybe it's 9 months before they can, but we have to give them a certain amount of time. But I think the first step that needs to be taken is, getting the letter out and having the residents call in, talk to Andy.
And I would caution, though, it's sort of, like the nuisance committee is that, say you find a boat and you tag that boat, there's 50 other boats behind that, okay? So just be very cautious of how you determine what your prioritization is and what seems to be the worst. Sometimes it's always good, and I'm gonna take my approach that I always do, is that you gotta get a third party that does that, okay? So like, for instance, when we talk about potholes in probably every street in this town, okay, there's probably one on every single one of them. You really need to prove, how do you determine that scientifically, that your street's not better than mine and my street's worse than yours?
Right.
But you get yours done first.
Right.
So you need to be careful and cautious of, there has to be a reality of, how you will determine whose sidewalk it is and who's in more desperate need than the other. Okay,
Well-
so you need to pay attention to that because, just like when I did that street study, it determined scientifically. It wasn't just because Courtney went out randomly and said,
No.
Red Street is
No.
the bad street.
No, I think what we should
You
do,
have to do it
we have the pictures,
scientifically.
we have the addresses, we pull them together, and whoever we, are gonna contract to do them, we let them go out and look at them, and they decide which ones are the worst. So that it's not
Well,
by.
sometimes contractors don't do that. Sometimes you just call a contractor up and say, hey, I need a repair to this address. But again, since the village is not gonna be involved, we're not gonna select the contractor for them. So if I were a resident, are you guys gonna be required to say, hey, this is the only contractor that can come and repair this? Because what if I can get it cheaper because my neighbor next door lays concrete? I don't want to use your contractor, because it would be less for me
Right.
to have, my neighbor do it. So there's a lot more than what you think is involved in this, and,
Well, and
the
that's why we
solicitor-
need to go to the solicitor and brainstorm the steps.
That's,
So,
yeah.
but
that's
I
right.
don't think that this committee should be the ones making the determination. We can put them together and what we see from worst to least, but we shouldn't decide the ones that the letter should go to first.
Well, that's
Is there
why,
a company or whatever that did the street study that does stuff like that for sidewalks?
I did the street study long ago, when we had a different engineer, so I'm not sure. I've never had to do a
There was
sidewalk.
used to be a guy named McGraw that used to do a lot of our cement work in town when I first got on council. He's gone now.
Do we have anyone, Jake Morrison, would he do that for us?
He doesn't lay concrete.
No, but do we have someone with any experience that could go, or when we give them the pictures, go to the addresses and determine which ones are the worst? Could the guys do it?
I don't know, that would be an
See,
answer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How would we do that? We
Well,
wanna
I
be
would, I
fair.
wouldn't speculate, because, speculating is just rumors.
Right.
I think we need to go straight to the solicitor.
Yeah, that's what I wanna do, the first thing, and I wanna pick his brain on what the process should be and how we determine everything.
Yeah.
To do it proper though, you'd have to form it, then you put what you call reinforcement wire in that. That makes it not from cracking bad. And I used to pour a lot of floors 40 years ago, and then you reinforce that. But you'll need people that's experienced though. If you go at it the wrong way, you either let it set too fast, it'll crack, or if you let it go too quick the other way, so. But like I said, but we are in dire need no matter what the situation is.
Okay, well, our first step is to get with the solicitor, so before we meet again, I'd like to have the solicitor's input on where to start and the steps going forward.
Should we have solicitor come in maybe? And explain to the
I'll
village?
leave that up to him. I mean, if he
Yeah.
can give it to us in black and white,
Okay,
then no, it's just a bill that we might not need, but if it's needed, absolutely. I'll let Courtney determine that, along with the solicitor.
I think it might be a good idea for him, that way we'd know.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind, and I'll suggest it to the solicitor, and I'll let Courtney and the solicitor make that decision.
That'd be good.
It involves money, it's on her,
Okay,
okay?
I agree.
All right, so, thank you, guys. Reach out with any questions, reach out to Courtney with any questions. Is that okay, Courtney? If you have any more questions on that part for him, take them straight to Courtney, please. The ODOT response to the speed limit on 207, I believe he has a response to that.
He does. Let me read this verbatimly. ODOT can lower the speed limit right now to 50 ODOT can lower the speed limit right now to 50 miles per hour, but a speed study is required to lower the limit further. A speed study will need to be free, and I am obtaining cost of doing so. Will not be free, and what I'm assuming, and I am obtaining cost to do so. Would recommend waiting until we know the Heritage Field subdivision timeline before doing anything to avoid having to do a speed study twice.
You said to 50?
What is it now?
No clue.
If it's lowering it to 50, it'd be 55 right now.
I think it's 55 going through there, yeah.
So it's not any great big deal.
You know, what's the difference between 50 and 55 anyway, so.
5 miles.
Yeah.
Ah,
There we go.
all right, so whatever. Yeah, he can get it lowered to 50, and we have to wait for it to ever go to 35. And I agree to wait on Heritage Farms to see what they're going to do and if anything changes with them. I think it will. That's adding a lot of cars for that subdivision, so it very well may lower it anyway. Any questions? All right. Do we have an ETA on the London Street project?
Is that the pothole in front? That's already been done.
The $80,000 that we secured?
Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about
the-
past the railroad
yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
No. I believe Andy in the last meeting was supposed to get some
Yeah.
quotes. He does not have anything on this paper.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So maybe that's another takeaway you give to Andy when you speak to him.
it sure will be. And then I will, if I get a response, I will have Courtney text you guys. Does anyone have anything else for streets that we have not covered yet?
Let me answer the questions I need to talk about on the sidewalk stuff, that's what I wanted to hear, so.
Any questions? Any input? Just sit back there and look pretty? All right. Courtney, do you have anything else for us?
Let's see, he does have a few things on here.
Take it away.
Let's see, service team is getting quotes this week on concrete work. Any concrete work that is ultimately approved will be done at the same time as other projects because of the cost of trucking in concrete and the need to do more and higher priorities for water and sewer works. Gravel has been placed in those alleys where residents have been submitting complaints, and the graveling process continues on the regular schedule. And that's it.
Very good. I assume the fast car project was done?
Mhm.
Okay. I have nothing else. If we don't have anything else, I appreciate everybody's participation and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
One day I was talking to somebody on the sidewalk, he's like, yeah, I thought I was got hit by another linebacker.